Hey everybody, welcome to Grahm Logic. This is episode 7. If you've seen the show, it's basically a YouTube series where I answer fan-submitted questions, advice, and we've done some episodes in the past, 6 to be exact, and they were very popular, and the set basically improved as the show got more popular. But then once episode 6 ended and I went on vacation for like 7 or 8 weeks in the Caribbeans, people just kind of stopped caring. And that caused, you know, the set that we were renting, we had to, unfortunately, we couldn't rent it anymore, we couldn't afford it, we had to lay off all the audio guys, and there was no more show. But then, I found out that Grahm Logic was in high demand. People were submitting questions on the internet, on Twitter, on email, and I said, well, we have to do another one. I actually didn't say that, my manager told me that we had to do another one, or else I go back to Nickelodeon, which I can't go back to Nickelodeon. So we're here. It's Grahm Logic episode 7. These questions were submitted by fans on the podcast that I co-host called the Say What Podcast. You can find it at saywhatpodcast.com. It's on iTunes and all your other favorite podcasting websites. And people are kind of in love with the way I think and the advice that I give. So they send in questions to our email address at saywhatpod@gmail.com. I think that's it. Is that it? saywhatpod@gmail.com? You don't know. I'm not even paying you. You're looking at your phone. It's saywhatpod@gmail.com and at saywhatpod at Twitter. These are all fan submitted, so I'm gonna dive right in. Here we go. The first question comes to us from a loyal listener. My husband and I have been married for 15 plus years and are big fans of your podcast. Thank you. We're hoping you can give us some much needed advice on how to spice things up after all these years. Thank you so much. Now, I am told by my producer that this question is in terms of spicing things up in regards to intercourse. Let's see, how long you been together? 15 years? I would say best thing you can do is just open communication. Open communication is very important. If you don't say anything, it's just gonna stay the same, and all those positions you're so used to, they're just gonna keep on happening, and it's gonna get more boring, and you'll end up looking up at the ceiling and you'll go, oh, what color should I paint the ceiling? Oh, it's been a while since I painted. And then you'll just trail off in the middle of a very intimate moment, which you don't want. You want to be totally in that moment. So what I would recommend is introduce some objects, and by objects, you know what I mean. Just go on the internet and you know what to look for. You know, there's you know, penile things you can purchase, things that vibrate, things that restrain your hands, things that go in your mouth. There's a whole broad world out there. But what I would do, sit down with your significant other and just have an honest conversation. Just ask each other, hey, what would you like to do that we have never done? And explore it. I mean, if you're gonna do it with anybody, it's gotta be your husband of 15 years. I mean, no one else is gonna be up for any of that whole type of thing. So have a conversation and drink some wine and go on the internet and buy some stuff. See what happens. Next question comes to us from Shane in Plattsburgh, New York. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck? I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna say 100 duck-sized horses, because horses are big animals. They're huge. But when they're the size of a duck, which is probably, I don't know, that big, if it's a full-grown duck, I mean, at that point, they're just like little, like rodents. And I could easily take those out. But 1 horse-sized duck, I mean, I'm dead. There's no way I'm surviving that. A duck the size of horses are big. Horses weigh like hundreds and hundreds of pounds. And a duck, I mean, ducks are very round. They're like tanks, but they're huggable tanks, essentially. Yeah, I'd rather fight 100 duck-sized horses, for sure. The next question comes to us from Melissa. She asks, my husband and I are having our very first baby. He's due on June 7th, and we're so excited, but trying to name him has become one of the biggest challenges we have ever faced. What should we name our new baby boy? This is the first time I've been given a role in a human being's life. I'm naming a child. So first of all, Melissa, I want to say thank you for letting me put a name in the hat for your kid. By your question, it says it's a boy, so I'll say this. First off, name your kid something unique. We got too many Jacks and Shanes, sorry Shane, Bobs, Johns. That's dumb. Stop with that. We don't need another one of those. Instead, go something unique. Go weird. Go really weird. Name him Mug. M-U-G. Mug. Like a coffee mug. It's a tough name. Odds are, if he grows up to be a very tough, very masculine human, maybe he plays football, maybe he's very into wrestling, maybe he joins a biker gang and beats people up for drugs. Mug is an incredibly tough name. So yeah, name him Mug. Crystal asks, why do people have such a hard time using the correct your and your? Honestly, I don't know why what am I, a teacher? What is this, a grammar lesson? Listen, Crystal, I don't know why people have that problem. People are stupid. People need to go to school and listen. That's all I have to say. Next question comes to us from Eric. Eric asks, just wondering how I go from the friend zone to the end zone, if you know what I mean. Whew. Whew, that's a hot question, Eric. That's a hot question. Eric, the friend zone is a tough zone to get out of. And if you want to go from the friend zone to the end zone, if you know what I'm saying, you really have to be confident. At the end of the day, it boils down to confidence. Because if you're stuck in the friend zone and you want to be in the end zone, but the other person thinks you just want to be in the friend zone, you're the only person who's going to get to the end zone. Because the ozone is causing our planet to have global warming, and that's not good. And staying in the friend zone when you don't want to be isn't good. So you just got to be confident, man. You got to make a move. You got to make a move, and if it fails, hey, at least you tried. I would know. I've been in the friend zone a lot of times. I have like a permanent residence there. It's nice. I mean, it's like a duplex? It's nice. It's a nice house. I go there in the summer sometimes. It's nice. It's by a lake. A lot of fun there. Next question comes to us from Olivia in California. Olivia says, how do I explain to the creepy cashier at Dunkin' Donuts that I don't want to accept his friend request on Facebook? He brings it up every time I get coffee there, and I just tell him I don't check my Facebook. But he got my name when he looked at my debit card. This guy is the king of all creeps. Help. Olivia, this is really awkward. I'm tempted to just tell you to call the police on this guy, but you can get a little more creative. What I would do is milk it for all you can before it gets to be too much for you. For example, if you're going to Dunkin' Donuts in the morning before work and you need that cup of coffee like I do, you might have to just play that card. Play that card of, I know you want me, but I don't want you, but I really want this cup of coffee to be $1 less. See what you can get out of it. But the fact that he's looking at your debit card and reading your information and remembering it and going home and looking you up on the internet, that is borderline stalker. That's something the police can handle. If you don't know the police's number, it is 911. But try and get a free coffee first, because I mean, if you can get a free coffee, why would you not get a free coffee? So what? A little stalking never hurt anybody. That's not true at all. The last question comes to us from @AgentSummer1013 on Twitter. She asks, if you were asked to create the best new emoji that everyone is missing on their phones, what would it be and why? It's a good question. I'm gonna hop on my phone real quick actually. And see what we got. Okay, so, I mean, some of my favorite emojis are the eggplant. I mean, everyone knows what the eggplant's for. You know. The coffee cup's great. I really like using the face that's like, that's a good one. But you know what we're missing on here? We're missing a real butt. An actual butt. Now, there's a lot of controversy surrounding this because the peach emoji technically is the closest thing on the phones to a butt. It's got that round top and it's got the little curve, the crack in the top part. I've used the peach emoji to represent a butt many times, but it just doesn't. Sometimes you just need a good butt. You need a real, actual butt to express your butt needs in text form. And so we need an emoji. Maybe it's just the cheeks. I'm not saying we need pants. I'm not saying we need any other private parts in the picture. I'm just saying a nice round, and you could change the color. You know how when you hold it down and you can change the color? Do that and just have a nice butt emoji. Honestly, the people at Apple, let's get a hold of the people at Apple. Let's tag them. Can we tag them? Are we legally allowed to tag them in this episode? I'm gonna tag them. Yeah, I'm gonna tag them. I don't care. I'm gonna tag them. Shut up. Apple, get on it. A butt emoji. We all need it. You know we need it. Stop lying to yourselves. Let's get one. It looks like that's all the questions. This is the part in the show where the screen goes black, shows the logo, music fades out, and yeah. So do that right now, I guess. Oh my God. This has been fun. Thank you guys for coming out. I know none of you are getting paid, unfortunately. It's a shame, but none of you are getting paid. I am, though. I am, yeah. Oh, I don't do this for free, no. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, most of all, for tuning in to this episode of Grahm Logic. If you do have a question, you need some advice, no matter what it is, send us an email at saywhatpod@gmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Grahm Kwasnick, or if you wanted to tweet the podcast directly, you could tweet it at saywhatpod. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'm Grahm Kwasnick, and this has been episode 7 of Grahm Logic, presented by the Say What Podcast. Oh my God! Oh, dead flower! Oh, dead flower got in the cup. Oh my God!